Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we are going to be talking about the Territe system changes. This news was just announced. I literally just rolled out of bed and saw it, and very exciting. I'm always a little pessimistic when I see changes like this, but it does seem like it could potentially genuinely change the game. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about both the good and maybe the bad that's coming. So let's go ahead and dig in. So I think overwhelmingly for a large amount of players, this is going to be a good change. I think for most players, this is going to be billed as a good change. I think this is a big move by Netmarble on Ni no Kuni in order to make Territe more accessible to more players. I also think it's killing two birds with one stone, or potentially three birds with one stone, where it's also going to inhibit bots quite significantly, and it's going to make them more money. Now, whether Netmarble is altruistic and they're doing this for the consumer, or whether they're doing it for their own pocketbook, I think is up for debate. Having worked in a corporate environment for years and years and years, every time I heard that something was for the customer, it was a load of shit because it was always for the business. So I'm a little bit, the altruistic hopefuls out there. They're like, oh, Netmarble's doing such a good job. I'm just sitting over here like, okay. I mean, if everybody wins, right? And I think, the jury is a little bit out on that right now because the system hasn't fully been implemented yet. But it does seem like it is going to be a positive change for most players. So what is the change? So we have Bound and we have Unbound Territe. Bound Territe is going to be Territe that is acquired through daily missions, quests, and events. Unbound Territe is going to be acquired from Chaos Fields and Familiar Adventures. So the first message I woke up to this morning was like, oh, we have paid and we have unpaid Territe right now. And that, in many ways, is kind of true. Chaos Fields Territe and Familiar Adventures Territe could essentially be considered paid Territe, right? Particularly as we do have a NKT shop coming in the near future where it's going to be like a paid Territe shop essentially, right? I do think it will be important to have that distinction between unpaid Territe and paid Territe, and when you use either currency. I'm going to assume Bound Territe is always used first. I don't know for sure, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to see the implementation. I wish instead of just making this announcement like they did, I wish they would have shown us the full implementation and what they're planning on doing, because right now this leaves a lot of questions, right? Like, I can already imagine myself having to make multiple guide videos tomorrow when the patch drops to try and explain how this system is going to work effectively, right? So I wish that first off that we had more details about this, because while yes, it is very good, and yes, there's going to be two different Territe systems, I do just want more information. Now, along with this, I do think it's important that we talk about how they did address the Territe bottleneck that a lot of players are experiencing. Now, keep in mind, this was pretty far down on the patch notes, and again, consumers, bottom of the barrel, right? This isn't being done for us. This is being done for the company, I think. And, they acknowledge that there is a lack of Territe and that they are, going to be implementing more ways to acquire Territe through event rewards. One of the event rewards they specifically referenced was a Chaos Fields event, which, I kind of wonder if it's going to be a PK area where players are just going to get PK'd by a top guild and locked out of this Territe event. I do kind of wonder, like, part of me is like, I wonder if that's what's going to happen. But I am trying to remain positive. I'm trying to remain optimistic that, whatever event they're going to implement, whatever way they're going to do it, it is going to be for all players, and it is going to be a way that all players can access it. Because if you just implement ways to acquire Territe that non-free-to-play players can get, right, or players who are lower level can't get, you're not really changing much for them, right? So I do think we will have to wait to kind of see how this plays out. Another thing they talk about is they did talk about the botting problems and how, you know, part of the reason they're doing this is to increase the value of NKT, because apparently the value of NKT gives our accounts value, which, I mean, is a load of rubbish, right? But I understand where they're coming from. I think it's interesting that this is almost exactly what a lot of people have asked for in terms of refining the Territe system to stop bots. I think that's exactly what they did here, and I think it's important that we acknowledge, right, that as players, this is one of the top requests that we had made, and Netmarble did do it. So shout out to Netmarble. Like, I do have to give them credit for that. Now, again, whether it was for us or whether it was for their own pocketbook is a little bit difficult to figure out here. And I do think it's interesting that they talk so much about preserving the value of NKT, because I'm not sure at this point. Like, I understand that Marblex and Netmarble are different companies, but I was under the impression that they weren't supposed to coordinate. Like, that Netmarble wasn't supposed to have anything to do with Marblex in this way, where Netmarble is making changes to preserve the value of NKT. Like, at what point would that be Marblex, right? Like, it's really interesting to me to see, like, to kind of wonder where the line is blurred, because if you go over to Marblex's Discord, what you'll see is an AMA where Marblex talks about preserving the value of NKT and NKA. And it makes you wonder, is Marblex taking care of NKT and NKA, or is Netmarble taking care of NKT and NKA? And what exactly is going on here? Because it seems like they may be doing something they're not supposed to be doing. But again, I'm no legal expert. I'm no crypto expert. I do just look at this situation and I'm like, that's weird that both of these companies are both adjusting NKT and NKA and talking about NKT and NKA, when, like, I feel like Marblex should just be talking about Marblex, right? So I do wonder about that stuff, and I do think about that stuff. But this is a video about Territe and what's going on in the Territe ecosystem, and I do think this change, whether or not it was made with the consumer at heart, is probably going to impact us in a positive way. And I will kind of leave the jury out on this for how much it's going to benefit us. Again, it could be easily implemented in a really poor way. We're going to have to wait and see. And again, I just wish they had given us more details. Anyway, everybody, I hope this video helped you. I'm curious what all of your guys' opinions are down below. I'm sure you are going to have very heated debates, and I am just going to look at your... I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you write a page-long comment, I'm not gonna read it. So if you could maybe condense it a little bit, that would be great. I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you guys on stream later tonight. So catch you guys later.